Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Ginger Pearce, and I'm one of the travel agents with Marvelous Mouse Travels. We are the agency that runs this Facebook group, along with several others that are focused on different destinations. And we are also Universal's first ever diamond travel agency. And what that means is that we are trained directly by Universal. We have a wonderful partnership with them, and we are recognized by them as providing exceptional customer service, and also, we book a lot of vacations as an agency through Universal. And so there is a level of expertise that comes along with that. And that's what it means for our agency to be Diamond. So, welcome to Sundays with MMT. This is a weekly live agent panel video series that we do in one of our Facebook groups every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're really excited to be here in our Universal group on Harry Potter's birthday to talk to you about Universal Orlando for Harry Potter fans. So, we're going to be focusing specifically on the Wizarding World tonight. We have a lot of fun things that we want to share with you and talk about, but we also would love to take your questions, hear your comments. So let us know if you're a Harry Potter fan, or, if maybe you're new to this whole Harry Potter thing and you're wondering if you're still going to enjoy those areas, even if maybe you've never read the first Harry Potter book or seen the first Harry Potter movie. We'll answer all of those things for you. So we are going live via a platform known as StreamYard this evening, and StreamYard will ask you to allow it to display your username and profile picture. If you want to post a comment, just know that you can decline that. You can still post and interact with us anonymously that way, and we would obviously love to hear from you. So I'm joined tonight by 4 of our marvelous agents. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here tonight. And if you would take just a couple of minutes to let everybody know your name, how long you've been with the agency, and the best way for them to contact you if they're interested in planning a trip.
Hi, my name is Taylor Flowers. I have been an agent with Marvelous Mouse Travels for 5 years, and the best way to reach me is at taylor.flowers@marvelousmousetravels.com.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Jackson. I've been with Marvelous Mouse Travels since 2019, and the best way to reach me is my email, sarah.jackson@marvelousmousetravels.com.
Hi, I'm Katie Kennedy. I've been with the agency since March of 2020, and the best way to contact me is my email, katie.kennedy@marvelousmousetravels.com.
Hi, I'm Jen Travis, and I have been with Marvelous Mouse Travels just a little over a year now. And the best way to get in touch with me is my email, jennifer.travis@marvelousmousetravels.com.
And again, I'm Ginger Pearce. I've been with the agency just over 4 years now. I'm a master planner, and the best way to reach me is to visit my blog, which you can find at gingermmt.com. So, ladies, let's talk about just this from the very basics. Let's start with kind of helping people understand which parts of the Wizarding World are in which of the Universal theme parks.
Okay, so there's two parts. There's Diagon Alley, which is London. So that's in the Universal Studios side. And there's stuff outside of Diagon Alley, and then there's stuff inside Diagon Alley, all in Universal Studios.
Yes.
And then Islands of Adventure is going to have Hogsmeade Village, and then, of course, the castle is going to be there.
That's
Hogwarts.
Right. And, I think that's a really important thing for people to realize, because I think sometimes if you're not familiar with Universal, maybe this is your first trip, you're just thinking, oh, the Wizarding World is maybe like its own park, or maybe it is just in one of the parks, but it's not. It's spread out over 2. And so you're going to need, 2 days if you have base tickets. Base tickets are 1 theme park per day. You're going to need at least 2 days with that ticket type to see both sides. And if you are maybe you have 1 day to go to Universal, you're going to want a park-to-park ticket to be able to see both in the same day, because they are in different parts of the park. Now, we're going to come back to that park-to-park ticket in just a second, because that's really important when we're talking about another element of the Wizarding World. But for now, let's explain to everybody which rides are in which of the parks.
So on the studio side, you have Escape from Gringotts. And that is you're basically walking through the Goblin Bank You're saving your friends and escaping from the bank. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but it's a pretty cool ride. And then also inside Diagon Alley, there's also Nocturne Alley as well, and there's lots of little areas where you can go and cast spells. But Escape from Gringotts is the only true ride inside Diagon Alley.
And I love that ride.
Both, right?
Yes, that is true. Ollivanders is in both. And if you're not familiar with Ollivanders, that is the wand shop. And we're going to talk about the wands a whole lot more in just a second. But I love Escape from Gringotts. Like that's actually one of my favorite rides at Universal. And it's a family coaster, I guess is probably the best way to describe it. Like it's definitely something that kids, can handle unless they're very young or kind of, averse to thrill rides and stuff like that, but it's not that intense. And it has some cool kind of 3D video elements to it as well. So I like that one a lot. And the queue for that ride is, incredibly immersive theming. You really do feel like you're in Harry Potter's world. It's crazy.
I agree.
Yeah. And we can't talk about that ride without talking about the dragon, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So she does that intermittently. And, when you walk into Diagon Alley, you're often seeing like crowds of people with their phones up because, they're kind of waiting for the time when she's going to do that. But it's pretty impressive and always exciting. So let's talk about the flip side. Let's talk about what's over in Hogsmeade and Islands of Adventure.
Hogsmeade has my 4-year-old's favorite ride, which is the Flight of the Hippogriff, which is a little kiddie roller coaster, and he just adores it. It's right outside of the castle. And then there is a ride inside of the castle called the Forbidden Journey. And even if you don't want to do the ride, I highly recommend you at least walk through the queue because it is incredible.
Yeah, I totally
Absolutely
agree.
Incredible.
I cannot handle that one for motion sickness reasons, but it's totally worth it to me just to walk through the queue because it's a tour of Hogwarts. It's totally awesome.
I would say that for any of the rides, you could. I think it's worth walking through any of the queues because there are so many amazing elements outside of the rides when you're just waiting to get on.
That's true.
And Katie was going to talk about the other one.
Hagrids and Motorbike. So you get to either ride on the motorcycle or in the little sidecar. And again, the queue is part of the attraction itself. I mean, you walk by Hagrid's hut and you go through the I don't know, I guess his little classroom. I don't know, but it's got eggs and all kinds of stuff. It's just really neat, the whole thing. And the ride is fantastic.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that ride. And like Hagrid's is obviously more intense than Flight of the Hippogriff or than Escape from Gringotts, but it's not as intense as something like Velocicoaster or the Hulk or Hollywood Red Rocket. It doesn't go upside down. It doesn't have any gigantic drops or anything like that. So if you have maybe an older child who's maybe wanting to try to test the waters with roller coasters, but they're not quite ready for some of those others, I think Hagrid's is a great place to start. But it's also just a fun ride if you are someone who's super into roller coasters because it's very fast. It has really, it's very smooth, lots of great turns, but it also has amazing theming elements all through it. So if you love Harry Potter, you're just delighted around every corner on Hagrid's. I love that ride. So we left one out. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. I was going to say, I think that's my favorite ride out of the Wizarding World. And it's fun too, because you can experience it in different ways, whether you sit on the bike or in the car, or you're in the front or in the back. So it's kind of different. My girls are 8 and 10 and they love the ride. So
absolutely. Now, who is team sidecar in this group? Anybody team sidecar? Okay, Katie's team sidecar. All the rest of us are team motorbike, I assume. Yes. Yep, I like it better on the motorbike. But if I had my son with me, he would feel much more secure and comfortable in the sidecar. So if you want to feel it less, I think the sidecar is a great choice. So.
I agree.
Now, we did leave one ride out, and that's because it doesn't fit neatly into one park or the other, because it actually goes between the two, and that is the Hogwarts Express. And the Hogwarts Express in the movies and the books is how they get to Hogwarts. And so let's talk a little bit to people about, how you can be sure that you get on the Hogwarts Express, because I know for a lot of people that is an absolute must-do.
Gotta have those park-to-park tickets.
That's right. That's right. And that is just because it goes in between the two parks. So, you're there. If you just have tickets for Universal Studios, you're not going to be able to get off in Islands of Adventure. So they do check for park to park tickets before you're even able to get in the queue for that one. Speaking of the queue, let's talk specifically about the queue on the King's Cross station side. What's special about that one?
Platform 9
and 3/4. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to walk through a wall.
Yeah. You do. There's my daughter running through the wall. And there I go. The stroller. My son.
Yes.
That is so fun. Now, you
It
obviously can't see, when you're running through it, but all the people behind you, do what we did, station somebody back to take pictures when you run through, and your kids will think
really
that's
neat.
the neatest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even that swoosh when you're like going into the wall.
Oh yeah.
That just, I think, just adds a little more magic to it.
I know it. And they really do, like, they've themed everything there. Like Hedwig is in her cage, right there with all of Harry's, his little trolley with all of his trunks and everything on it. And it looks just like it does in, the movies and everything like that. So it's awesome. I love it. You can also board the Hogwarts Express in Hogsmeade and go back to Diagon Alley, but it just doesn't have, it doesn't have a wall that you run through or anything like that. But it's still cool, just, in its own way.
The rides are different.
Yeah,
each way.
they're
The rides
different.
are different.
Great
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either way, both ways, you're going to get something different out the window, for lack of a better words. So definitely ride it for sure. Yeah. So let's talk about a lot of people's favorite topic. And whenever we do sessions that are totally centered around this topic, they're always some of our most interactive, and that is food. So what food items or locations are in the Wizarding World? And feel free to share some of your personal favorites if you'd like to.
Have to have butterbeer.
Oh yeah.
And all
Have to
flavors
have
and
it
all
in
kinds
all the flavors and all of the forms that comes in
Yes, all the
frozen and
forms.
hot.
Yeah.
And it just it's
And ice
delicious.
cream and fudge.
That's
Yes.
true. Yep.
There
Now,
are
I've never had the
seven
butterbeer.
different types.
Really?
I've never had the ice cream.
What?
I've never
the
had
ice
the
cream.
butterbeer ice cream.
Ooh,
So good. So good.
it's so good.
Yeah,
There's
the
also
frozen
the,
butterbeer is my favorite.
Mine too, but they
Yeah.
only have it during certain times of the year, right? It's not all the time.
The
Or is that the
frozen?
hot butterbeer?
That's the hot.
used to be.
The
but
hot
now
butter.
it's
Be.
hot all year.
Yeah,
They have the hot all year now.
and that's
Nice.
good too. That's good too.
It is good.
I just like the frozen better.
I do too.
The frozen's
The
my
hot
least
is my favorite.
Really? Oh,
Well,
division.
favorite.
Just outside 12 Grimmauld Place are the potato jackets, and that's one of my favorite go-to snacks when I'm kind of not really feeling like a heavy meal, but they definitely have a wide variety of options. So that's one of my favorite go-to snacks on the studio side.
Yeah. I love. Oh, go ahead.
no, my kids love Honey Dukes.
Yes, Honey Dukes has
All
all kinds
of-
of delicious
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Yes.
They love it.
Those are not the jelly beans are not my kids' favorite. They eat them, but then they complain about it later.
Yeah. Yeah, those are not my favorite treat of either, but I do love the chocolate frogs, and the chocolate frogs are really neat. They do come with a little card inside, and so you'll have a different wizard or witch on the cards, which is a lot of fun touch.
The last time we were there, we got something there. I want to say they're orange. They pop. They are so delightful. And the next trip back, I need to come fill the suitcase, pack an extra suitcase with them. forget what those are.
Well, and they have, a bunch of candies, but they also have like a whole confectionery, like bakery case. Where they've got, chocolate ones, and they've got cauldron cakes and pumpkin pasties and all of these different things. We got a cupcake there one time that was really, really good. It was incredibly moist and wasn't overly sweet. It was like the perfect treat in the middle of the day. Now, let's talk about Three Broomsticks and Leaky Cauldron. So Three Broomsticks is over on the Islands of Adventure, Hogsmeade, Hogwarts side. Both of these are quick service locations. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And, they have different menus for the lunch and dinner portion. Breakfast, I think, and you guys can correct me if you've had a different experience. In my experience, the breakfast has been pretty similar at both, but that lunch and dinner menu does vary a little bit. My personal favorite of the two is Three Broomsticks because they have the beef. I think they're called beef pasties. It's basically just like little, pastry pockets with seasoned ground beef inside. They're really, really good. My husband always gets the fish and chips there. And then over at Leaky Cauldron, they have more British inspired favorites, but they don't have some of my favorites over there. So I prefer Three Broomsticks.
Yeah, I'm a Three Broomsticks person as well.
Yes.
I agree.
Same. I love that chicken platter. It's such a large meal for a good sized family. I mean, you could probably split that with two people, depending on how hungry you are, but there's definitely a lot of food on that plate.
For sure.
It's called the Great Feast, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then Leaky Cauldron, like they both have an incredible atmosphere. Like they have, like in Leaky Cauldron, they've got big fireplaces in there and which have cauldrons in them and stuff like that. And then Three Broomsticks has huge vaulted ceilings and there's little touches everywhere. So they're both incredibly well themed and you feel very immersed in that. So those are some of my favorite places to eat. You don't need reservations for that because they are quick service. So you're just going to walk up. So definitely if you're trying to avoid crowds, you want to eat at kind of off peak times. But typically they get you in and out pretty quickly in our experience. Did we leave anything out food wise?
There's ice cream over in Diagon Alley that we love. There's all kinds of flavors. Our current favorite is chocolate chili.
Ooh. That sounds really good. Yeah.
It does.
And then there's the
strawberry peanut butter. I think that's the one that we get. It's really good.
That's interesting.
It's good.
Yeah. If the butterbeer line's too long, you can go to Hogshead over on the Hogsmeade side and get you butterbeer there. So that's nice.
You can. And they also have like fire whiskey and they have, like special themed beers, some of it which you can only get in the Wizarding World too. Right. Over there. There's a little, I can't remember the name of it, but in Diagon Alley, right next to the ice cream parlor, there's also a little place there where you can jump in and get butterbeer, but they also serve, other beverages too. It has a name. I can't remember. The name eludes me at the moment, but it's really close to the Magical Menagerie and the ice cream parlor right around in that area.
Is that the Hopping Pot?
It might be because there's an outdoor place where you can get butterbeer that serves like appetizers, but then there's this indoor place that just serves no food. It's just beverages, but it might be the Hopping Pot. I can't remember the name for sure. Did we get all the food? I think we did. Oh, well, they have like little kiosks too. If you want to grab like a Gilly water or pumpkin juice or something like that, they have little grab and go sites as well. So let's talk about the wands. I know a lot of us have our wands here with us tonight. So this is actually my daughter's wand right here. It's not actually mine. So let's tell everybody let's talk about the wand ceremony, what the wands do. Let's just give kind of the overall wand experience here. Where do you want to start?
So the wand ceremony, you can do that on either the Diagon Alley side or the Hogsmeade side. It's essentially the same show. It's not really going to vary one way or the other. You will be grouped with about 10 to 15 other people. Just kind of depends on how many people are in line at the time. And then the wand master will pick somebody from the crowd. It could be a child. It could be an adult. I've seen it go both ways. And the wand picks the wizard. You know, they go through the whole being able to find that right match of what wand will best work for the person that the wand master selected. And it's kind of that whole experience of when Harry Potter went into Ollivander's and found his wand. And so it's really cool that they were able to recreate that at Universal Studios. And you can choose at the end to get the wand. And if your child or whomever doesn't like that wand, they can go pick another one. There's such a wide variety of wands. If they want the Ginny Weasley wand or the floor wand, you know, there's pretty much a wand for everybody. If they don't like the wand they're walking out with.
I highly recommend getting the interactive wands as well. There are some really neat wands that Universal also puts out that aren't really related to the movies, but they are incredible. I saw one recently that was purple. I think I might have to have that one. But the interactive ones are real fun, and my kids can spend a whole day in the world just, you know, casting spells. Even myself, it's super fun. So it's worth it.
Yeah. And if your wand happens to stop working, which ours did on our last trip, they'll magically fix it for you.
Yes, exactly. So if you're worried about your kids playing it with it when they get home, you know, and it breaks, they'll fix it for you the next trip back. So that's great to know. So the difference between an interactive and a non-interactive, it's hard to see on this, but there's a like a crystal tip at the top of the interactive ones, and that's what interacts with the land and creates the magic.
Yeah. And when you purchase your wand, they give you this little map here, which has different spots in both Wizarding World areas where you can go around, and there's a motion that you have to perform and a spell, you know, that you say, and then certain things will happen. So there might be a little chocolate frog that pops up out of a box, or there might be some water that squirts or something like that. But we did that for the first time on our trip last month with our daughter, who is 6, and like you said, she could have spent all day doing that. Like that was the coolest thing to her, and we really enjoyed it too. Like it was a lot of fun.
And if you forget your map at home, or you know, don't want to take it, there's little emblems on the ground, and so you can just look for those as well. That tells you the direction to make your spells.
Absolutely.
And now, they have witches and wizards walking around that can actually help you cast your spells. I've seen a lot of people who think it's like this massive grand gesture, and honestly, like it's a small swish and flick of the wand to make the magic happen throughout the park.
That's true. That's one thing we noticed, is you want to keep it, you know, small rather than gigantic movements. Now, whose wand does everybody have? Do you guys have character wands? Do you have other wands?
So mine are my 2 daughters. I have 2 daughters. This is Voldemort's wand because that's what she wanted. And then my other daughter got Ginny Weasley's wand.
Nice.
So I have 2 of my families as well. I have my husband's, who has Moody's wand, which is super fun.
That is a fun one.
Cool. Yeah. And then of course we have Harry Potter. This is Harry Potter's birthday, but this is his. Yeah. And I think my other daughter has Ginny Weasley.
So I also have the Ginny Weasley wand, but my daughter actually collects these, so it would have taken me a few minutes to bring up the wide variety of wands, but that's her little thing. She likes to collect the interactive wands.
Yeah, we have probably 6, to be honest. I have 4 boys. And, they're put up because, you know, I said earlier I have a 4-year-old and he breaks them, so they are not accessible at the moment. But we have Harry's wand, we have Neville's wand, we have Dumbledore's wand. I think we have Luna's wand. I mean, I don't know. And then 2 that aren't characters wands. Yeah, and maybe more. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the current count's at.
This is Hermione Granger's wand. I don't know how well you can see it's beautiful. It's got like vine work all over it. It's such a pretty wand. But I mean, they have every character, but they also do have some that are just you're unique, your one. So I love all the different variety that they have. It's a lot of
My
fun.
sister actually went into Ollivanders, and she didn't go to the show, but she went in and asked one of the witches that was working at the store what kind of wand she should get. And she's a nurse, and they picked out a wand for her that had like healing powers and different things.
Oh, that's
and she
cool.
really loved that. Yeah. So they can kind of customize it to your interest in what you do. So I thought that was pretty neat. I didn't know they did that until she did that. So
and even if you're not, wanting to go to Ollivanders, there is it Grigorovich? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Over in Diagon Alley, you can also have there's a little stand there that's Grigorovich wands, if you're like Victor Crumb and you prefer those. So
there's also a cart in Hogsmeade as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In the back. Yep,
that's true. So lots of opportunities for you to get a wand if you're interested in that. So let's talk about, one of my favorite things about the Wizarding World. Now, I am a Harry Potter fan. I've read them all multiple times, seen all the movies multiple times. The first time we ever went to Universal, my husband had never read the first Harry Potter book, never seen a movie. Like he was going in completely blind to all of this stuff. But even as someone who, knew nothing about Harry Potter and wasn't really into it at all, it was his favorite part of the park because of all of the detail. But if you are someone who loves Harry Potter and who picks up on all those references, it's like an Easter egg, extravaganza in there of just like little things that you can find in the shop windows and all over the place. So I wanted to hear from each of you guys, what is your personal favorite Easter egg in either part of the Wizarding World?
I love the night bus and the shrinking head that talks to you outside of London is my favorite. My kids always go up and try to talk to it every time we go. So
fun.
That's our favorite.
The back of the night bus is actual props from the movie. So you want to go around to the back side of it and peek in as well.
Yep.
So I like the singing heads down in Nocturne Alley, but I don't know if anyone's ever picked up on the song. It's actually the song they were singing from Jaws, and there's lots of little Easter eggs throughout Nocturne references. Yeah. So that's one of I even love some of the spells back there. It's a really cool area to go and check out and get cool when it's really hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the former.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the former Jaws ride used to be where they built Diagon Alley. So there are a lot of different references. I'm a huge Jaws fan, just coming off Shark Week. So but there are a lot of references around to Jaws throughout there.
So the Owl Post, the first time we went, we had to get postcards and have them mailed by Owl. So that was very fun. Oh, Moaning Myrtle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
She is in the bathroom. I forgot about her.
Yeah.
We took my niece last summer to Universal, and the way we surprised her was we bought her goblin money. We went into the bank just next door to the ride and bought her some goblin money, and I handed it to her, and she looked at me like I was crazy. She's like, "What are you going to do with this?" And I'm like, "Well, we're going somewhere where you can actually use this." And then she just like face lit up, and she was all excited. And so I always think that's a really cool gift, like the way to surprise somebody.
They're also just a fun souvenir to keep if you want to keep.
Yeah. So my favorite Easter egg is probably in one of the shop windows. They have the entire collection of Gilderoy Lockhart, and it has like all of the titles from the books, and it has moving photography of him. And so he's one of the most ridiculous characters in Harry Potter. And so I just love the fact that they included him. But also another one in the Magical Menagerie, which is where Hedwig here came from. And she, her head turns like an owl's would. But up at the top of the shop is actually Crookshanks. And so Crookshanks is up there kind of looking at you and everything. And so that's a really fun one too. Yeah. All right. So I think that that's everything that we had that we were going to talk about tonight. But let me look over and see if we've had any comments come through. Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for watching. And then hello. Thank you so much for commenting. So I think that that's all the ones that we have right now. Just keep in mind too that if you are stumbling across this video either on Facebook or on YouTube after it's no longer live and you have a question or anything like that, you can still put that in the comment section and we will come back and answer that later. We do still monitor these videos after they're no longer live, so we're happy to come back and answer those questions for you. But we thank you so much to all of you that watched with us tonight. Thank you, ladies, for joining us and sharing your knowledge and some of your favorite Harry Potter's elements with us tonight. Keep in mind, if you are interested in planning a vacation, that it doesn't cost you any extra to plan through one of our agents. You're going to pay the same exact amount as if you went on Universal's website and booked that vacation direct. But when you're booking with one of our agents, first of all, if you're booking tickets only with us, our tickets actually come with early park admission included for no additional charge. And that is an hour's early entry into the Wizarding World. That is something that if you just purchase tickets on Universal's website, they're not going to come with that. And so the fact that our tickets do is a really great perk. Also, if you're booking a vacation package, the pricing is also going to be the same, but we're going to provide you with a lot of insider tips. We're going to monitor for discounts for you. We're going to remind you of payment deadlines and things like that. So you have essentially just someone in your corner helping make sure you have a great vacation, but you're not paying any extra money for that. So if you missed our contact information, all of that is back at the beginning of the video, and feel free to reach out to any of us. But we thank you so much for watching tonight, and we hope you'll join us again soon for another episode of Sundays with MMT. Bye, everybody.